converted his entire DRDO force to find out the solutions, which has been immensely helpful for the people during this COVID period. And we noticed that under his guidance, nearly 50 technologies that are combating the COVID has been developed, and about 75 products have been transferred to the 100 industry. So these are all the remarkable achievements under his leadership. One of the premier defense research organizations have achieved. And today's context, as you can see, that the nation's at loggerhead and the importance of a strategic sector like DRDO really plays a key role. And we are very 100% sure and safe in the hand of Satishji's contribution, particularly developing the new generation warfare systems in the two indigenous systems under it. And Satishji, I just want to say that NITI was in the league of those institutions which were built up in the IM Kolkata, IM Ahmedabad, and later on IM Bangalore. So we were in the same league. And during our time, you remember the gate score was somewhere in the range of 99.9, then only NITI one can get. So that legacy, sir, we build up and we want to move in that line only. So with this, my humble words, and we request you that so nicely you grace the occasion. And we are really, from core of heart, we welcome you and honor you and place our utmost respect to you. Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for introducing our distinguished guest. I would now request Professor K.S. Ranjani ma'am to take the session forward. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good morning, one and all. Sir NITI is honored to receive you amidst us today. The nation and the world is facing a lot of instability. I think there can be no better time than today for us to welcome the DRDO in our midst and have your opinion and views. So we live in a time where we are hoping, India is hoping to become Atmanirbhar. So a clarion call has been given by our Prime Minister for Atmanirbharta, especially in defense. And today, I think we have moved even beyond Atmanirbharta. And today, I think the context that has been set is to become a global player to create global benchmarks. So I'm most certain that not just DRDO, but the entire nation is actually looking forward to what really we will do. As our director very rightly pointed out, DRDO took a leadership role during COVID, used and displayed technologies that can be used for disaster management and relief also. So we are very eager, sir, to hear from you where India is headed, not just in terms of self-reliance, but to create global benchmarks, to create organizations, through our through DRDO also, spurn of organizations that will create a mark in the globe. So we are very eager to hear you. We will also follow this up with a Q&A session. So now over to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ranjani. First of all, very good morning and good afternoon to everyone who is present there. Professor Manoj Kumar Tiwari, Director, National Institute of Industrial Engineering, Mumbai, and Dr. Hema Date, Dean, and again Dr. Ranjani, and all others who are present. Very good morning, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with you for an hour or so. Firstly, I'm very sorry for what has happened in the morning at 12 o'clock. I planned to have it from my other office, but there was some net problem, so I had to move away from there to come to this office, which is about 4-5 kilometers away, and then join. Sorry for this delay. And I've seen the profile of NITI. It's excellent. You stand as, I think, 12th rank in the country in these institutes. My congratulations to you. And I'm sure in the years to come up, you will be growing and you will become stronger, and you will be able to achieve major milestones and improve your rankings, and you become a global player in the years to come, and as one of the major important global institutes. And particularly the theme of the talks what you have taken, Prerana, inspiration, is very good. Actually, it is fundamentally, if you can inspire someone to do a particular activity or whatever it is, that is more than sufficient. Actually, that's what actually all our gurus say. Just guide them to the right direction and they will do on their own everything. And we should not be actually guiding them through the activity. Actually put them into the right activity, in the right frame of mind, everything they'll be doing. So that itself shows the institute's elegance in taking up this theme and getting the students inspired by these talks. So I'll try to put in some perspectives, some experiences, what I had. Let me very frankly tell you, I haven't prepared anything myself. A lot of activities were there. So as it comes, whatever it comes, I'll try to put it in now. Look at DRDO. It has been a science and a technology laboratories rather across the country, trying to develop something. But then the major change has come, Philip, has come in the 80s. That is where Dr. Kalam has joined DRDO. And Dr. Arunachalam, a visionary who was there as scientific advisor. So that is where, unless we motivate all these dedicated scientists towards a cause, towards a mission, we will not be achieving a goal. So you set a goal, very clear goal, not just see, as you say, when you say a scientific research, you can keep on doing and continuously coming out. But whereas when you focus it towards the all energies are channelized to a particular cause, then the effect is completely different. That is what they have done. They brought in major programs, which actually country was lacking. The Integrated Guided Missiles Development Program, IGMDP, simultaneously 5 missiles development program, the Arjun Tank Development Program, the Tejas Aircraft Development Program. So that is what actually brought in the complete change in the landscape of this country itself. Let me tell you, I'll use the word that the complete landscape of this country in the defense ecosystem. The academic institute started participating. Lots of research, lots of algorithms. Industry started coming up because the programs are sanctioned. A lot of industry has to come up and develop many things. And the scientists, it is, I can say that it is a religious dedication, motivation towards a particular goal that we need to have. This country has to see a missiles coming up and we should become missiles power, tank power and aircraft power. That is how all the energies have been channelized. Management structure, not the the channels where you go vertically up one after other and all that. A completely authorized, empowered project directors have been created for each project. They manage everything themselves. There may be Dr. Kalam as director, but he is there as finally at top level to review, monitor, and what is happening and all that. But the complete financial powers, technical powers, everything were given to the project directors. In fact, there itself, I want to say, particularly I have to mention about Dr. Kalam there. See, normally the attitude of a person is, when you haven't developed one missile in the country, you try to take up one missile and develop it, and then try to go for multiple missiles development later. See, the attitude there was completely different. No, we will simultaneously develop 5. We will not just take up one after other and all that. That's how that all those missiles, Agni, Prithvi, Akash, Trishul, Nag, have been simultaneously developed. Same time, the research center Imarat, which you mentioned some time back, where I became director after Kalam after 25 years, that was simultaneously created. At the same time, almost a sanction was taken approval from the government. And the integrated test range, DRDO didn't have any range to test the missiles. In the district of Balasore in Orissa, that was also created. See, imagine that's what actually in what is in practice when somebody puts in practice what he preaches, what he teaches, is what we can see in Dr. Kalam. He always used to say that think big. You should be thinking very big. And that is what you can see here. Not just one missile, taking 5 missiles, you're taking then building up a big laboratory like RCI and building a test range like ITR and testing your Agni, first test of Agni from that range is what actually makes difference. The courage what comes to the people, the leadership, what has been given by him. And then creating multiple simultaneously, so many leaders in the form of the project directors. Many project, they all have become leaders. Dr. Saraswat was one of the project director. He became the chief of DRDO. Avinash Chandra was one of the project director. He became the chief of DRDO. Natarajan, who was actually leading the tank, he became the chief of DRDO. So you see, leaders are also simultaneously created. That is what is the system, what has brought in a change in DRDO, the system, the flat system, what has been created, bringing many leaders, no bureaucracies, no delays and things. This is one thing. Second, I also feel whenever you are actually lost in a problem, it is very difficult for you if you are within the same vicious circle of that problem. You won't be able to come out. You actually have to go to some different plane, spend some time there and enjoy that frame and come back here. The problem solving is very easy. I remember when we were launching Prithvi from Sriharikota, we had some problem. We were just not able to understand. Night almost at 11:30, we were struggling. So then Dr. Kalam was also there with us. So then we all thought, let us leave this launch pad, go out. So we went to a hall. We were sitting there. Then there was Rameshwaram temple, that long corridor was there. And then Dr. Kalam was looking at that, and there was one man who was there in that long corridor. See how small a man before this universe and God. And then we discussed it for some time about Rameshwaram temple, how they would have constructed, what would have happened, what are the bridge Rama has construction and all that, and had dinner. We just forgot for about 1.5 hours about the problem and came out and came back to the launch pad. Next 1 hour, the problem is resolved. This is another thing. That's why many of the people whom you see, I think great leaders, or I can more talk about more scientists, they all had a different life, whether they had interest in music or literature or something like that, and which actually completely different life from what you have been seeing. Third, I always feel that leader has to stand tall, courageous, inspiring the people, and always sharing the love and affection to them. At the same time, showing that you are there to give the guidance and take the decisions. And people stand up. You give the freedom to them and give the responsibility and don't interfere too much into their affairs, and then the people will be able to deliver. Of course, you have to select the right people. In fact, I always say one thing: a leader should be there and should not be there. The people who are with you, they should feel that he is not there. That means that freedom is there for them to work. At the same time, you are not going out of the track, so they should feel that the leader is there. That is how it should be. And that's how it should become. I will give you one of my own personal experience. When Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji called me, along with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval ji, we went and I gave a presentation to him on the anti-satellite test, what we can do. I said, we have the capability. If you say yes, do it, we will be able to do it. So sharp, PM actually understood everything in 10 minutes. Let me tell you very clearly. And the way he has put in his own Hindi in the normal language, understood very fast what it is. And so Then the next question what he asked is, yes, I want you to do it, but 2 साल में करना है, 2 years. Actually, I don't think anybody else has done in the world and 2 years developing a missile, launching a satellite and working with such a precision and all that. But I don't know. I said my answer was yes, sir. Yes, sir, we will do it. And it was also told that the whole thing has to be confidential. The news should not come out. You should do it. Again, I said yes. And no less than 300 to 400 to 500 people will be working on this. And then maintaining secrecy is not a small thing. But then we took the challenge, went ahead, came here. Then we worked in a different configuration mode with the scientists. We were about firstly 3 scientists, then later about 5 scientists who were knowing the actual mission what it is. Even the day when it is launched also, one of the important persons who is responsible for the first stage motor, he was asking what is it, it is going in a different direction. This is how it was. But then I tell you, when the mission is set, and it is none other than the Prime Minister has given this to you, and then this is a challenge for DRDO to show it to the country that we have this capability and we can show it to the world that India has such capabilities. That complete 2 years, I don't think any of these entire team members left before night 1 o'clock. And when the day of the launch came, I'll tell you, when the launch is supposed to take place at about exactly 4 seconds or something like that, I was not sure at morning 8 o'clock whether we will be able to take off or not. So many activities were left. And when National Security Advisor calls me, how are things? I still say that things are okay. And people are working. And it is very important that your tension inside, your stress inside, you should never be showing to your own people who are working with you. You always have to be showing them that, yes, the optimism, the positivity and all that you should be showing and leading the people. And I think that is what has helped people. In fact, I want to mention this one thing. A good leader is one who actually owns the responsibility of failure and who gives the success to his people who are there. Always. When a failure comes, say that this is my failure. And Sarabhai did it. When Sarabhai, actually, I think with the example of Dr. Kalam only, when the SLV first failed, and he called for a press meet, and I owe the responsibility for this failure, even though he was not a project director. When the next success happened, he made Dr. Kalam to give the press brief, everything about the success. So this is what it is. And so when the success of ASAT has been seen, you can see the motivation, dedication, happiness, everything in the people who have done it. At the same time, when their failure happens, if you are able to bring the people connect to the work, what is happening, manasa vacha karmana, whatever you say, they're fully connected, then success gives very happiness, and failure also actually makes them feel bad. In fact, for one of the missions, our Honorable Raksha Mantri came there. And there was a problem in the mission. And then the moment there was a problem in the mission, the whole entire blockhouse became very, very silent. Faces have become very dark, dull, everything. Raksha Mantri was seeing. On the way back, he told me, I am actually touched and moved by the feelings of the scientists of this country that are the failure. I could see the faces such a way that some bereavement happened in their family. That is the type of thing what I have seen. So it is important to see that the people are connected to the work, what they are doing. That is another important. That is what actually called, actually it is called, every organization or every laboratory should have a culture of its own establishment, a culture. That is, I see everywhere. You see, the engineering college, what I studied, I definitely feel that we have a culture. And actually, my college gave me one thing I can definitely say is you can mix with anybody. That actually I learned from my college. We used to have actually the Britishers' barracks were my hostel rooms. So they all were there together and you open the room, everybody is outside. So all of us, we used to sit every time 20, 30, 40 people and chatting, playing, whatnot, everything, walking. You go for a tea also, 40 people we used to go together. So that actually brought how people all can be together and all that, our social life and feeling for each other, helping for each other and all. I think that is what actually in the DRDO scientists made them work for the COVID. When Honorable Prime Minister actually declared the lockdown, very next day morning, apne aap, we were about 10 people came to our office. Just the 10 people discussion was, we are scientists of this country and country is facing such a grievous situation, pandemic situation. How can we keep quiet and how can we not come to office? We should do something. The very first idea that day, what it came is nothing but there is one laboratory who can actually are good in these things. They can come out quickly with the sanitizers development and give it. And people called that lab in Gwalior, and they were ready within next 48 hours with the sanitizers. 72 hours to 96 hours, they found two industries, technology transferred and started making. And somebody who is working in textiles and PPEs for nuclear, biological, chemical protection, this thing, they came out with the uh, PPEs and masks in no time. And then seeing this, the government has put us in the group of secretaries who can work on this. And then we didn't look back. And that is the inspiration. One lab has developed, there is a competition, another lab, how I cannot develop it. I also used to come out. Then they started working with the police force, health people there, and all that. 75 technologies. I never imagined, I'm telling you very frankly, I never imagined 75 technologies within a short period of 1 or 2 months would be coming out. Then there were ventilators were not there in the country at all. And it is again asked ventilators, can you develop? Our people in Bangalore had some experience of working on that, took the challenge. There was a private industry, working with the private industry, Bharat Electronics Limited. All industries were closed. But the whole country was motivated. The entire police helped. All the industries, what we wanted to open, they opened along with the employees. They brought people from Bihar and then made this factories open. You designed walls, you designed flow meters, you designed sensors, everything, and got it developed. And imagine a ventilator, high-end ventilator, high-end ICU ventilator, design, development. And I want to tell you in that time, every day, the people left at 4 o'clock in the morning from office and 9:30 to 10 o'clock back in office. That's the inspiration, what the prerana, what you said right now. People have come, developed, went through at least 8 to 10 hospitals, got it tested, and Bharat Electronics Limited, government has provided aircrafts from anywhere, wherever it is possible, whatever to be shifted, everything, Air Force, other aircrafts were available, people were able to travel, brought it, everything. And 14th of August, 30,000 ventilators delivered. This country had enough ventilators, whatever you wanted. Same thing. Next year in the pandemic, oxygen. And the Prime Minister was saying oxygen plants. So we said, sir, we have developed an onboard oxygen generation system for Tejas aircraft. We can convert it and get it 1,000 liters per minute. This thing, we have already made such unit and we have kept it in this thing. So he just wanted to test us. So put it in AIIMS Delhi. So how much time you want? We said 15 days. 15 days we have put it, the oxygen plant. Then 1,000, close to about 1,000 numbers oxygen plants were ordered through PMKs. And within a matter of about 15 days, industries came up, industries went by special flights to our places and then got the technology. More than about 20 industries got this technology. And imagine next about 4 to 5 months, the 1,000 plants were made and went to all over the country. Whether you talk about Nagaland, Arunachal, or you talk about Andaman, they have been installed everywhere and IoT has been put, all the things have been done. Same thing when it came to the hospital in Delhi, when the Home Ministry took a review, We want a hospital because there are no beds available. When somebody quickly build an hospital with all the oxygen and other ICU facilities, how much time you want? And my people were saying, yes, sir, you tell. I said 10 to 15 days we can. So actually people looked at what is this DRDO people are saying. And then we said, you show us the land, show a marshy land near the airport. But then the 11th day hospital, a super specialty hospital with 1,000 beds, all 1,000 with oxygen and 500 with ICU beds was ready and inaugurated by the Honorable Raksha Mantri and the Honorable Home Minister, Matt. It is all actually what I mean to say is how you touch upon, how you make, how you inspire the people. I really wonder, I admire, I salute my people. I was telling other day also, my works chief, I salute you because there are about 500 to 800 workers who are working there. And because they're working so hard, all the normal employees called from various places in the country and no mask, nothing. And you are all also among them working along with them. And you know how fatal was that second wave was also. Still, people had the courage and to stand there and made it. And we need to salute. This is all actually the motivation what you have created, inspiration what you have created. That's number one. And number two, what are the mechanisms you have created to facilitate them to do such things? Government has given all the powers. See, I'll tell you one example. For this oxygen plants, Honorable Prime Minister has signed the file at about, I think, evening 5 o'clock. And 5:30, the message came from PMO, you have been sanctioned some 480 crores or something like that. And then by 6:30, 7 o'clock, tenders were floated. By about 8:30, quotations have been received from various firms and quotations are opened. Negotiations completed by night 10 o'clock, 10:30 orders placed for this. Can we imagine? These are all which has happened in this country. That is the facilities what has government has. So what I'm saying is right goal, right mission, right leadership. Leadership, what I want to say here is a leader, a director, he is there to give directions. We should not be ashamed of or shy of or hesitant in giving any directions. People for a leader, they look towards the directions. And we should be very clear in giving directions. And we should not be hesitating. What I mean to say is, if you go for a discussion, the 2 year ASAT mission, people would have said 6 years. But you have taken a decision, given a direction that it is 2 years, and the Prime Minister has taken the decision given to this nation, seeing the zeal and capability, probably you would have discussed with NSA and all that, given the direction, people stood behind it. And similarly, whether it is 1,000 oxygen plants, or you talk about ventilators, or talk about hospitals, or anything also, people could stand. And so the leader, visionary leader should set the goals, mission and directions and time frame and the goal, everything before, and motivate the people. And then once they are motivated and channelize their energies completely towards the mission, and then facilitate them what they need and with empowerment and no unnecessary hassles for them, and then the people will be able to deliver. And this all actually a positivity around the whole environment and whole organization, whole team. That is what is most important, what is required. A positive energy always should be floating around us. In fact, I want to tell all of you, don't look towards the negative voice of somebody. Just observe that. Don't take too much about it and don't keep thinking about the negative of it. Nobody is perfect in the world. I don't think it is, if you are perfect, then you are God. If you are a human being, you definitely have some negatives. So look towards only the positive points of it and see that how that can be utilized for the goal set for the nation or the organization. And then you can work with everybody. Touch upon the positives, the strengths of the people and utilize it for the cause. And then we'll be able to do it. And that makes the positivity. We unnecessarily keep on touching the negatives, and that person also touches your negatives, and we live only in the negative energy, and both of us make each other not to move ahead and not to go ahead with our work, and we'll be lost in the problems itself. So this is what is the most important thing. So we should be very clear in this, having a positive outlook, mission and goal set, and creating the mechanisms and go ahead. and then we will be able to achieve. And it is all that we are all like Hanumans. Hanuman had tremendous capabilities, but he never knew that. Somebody has to tell him. And that is the job of the leadership, that yes, you have this capability and do it. And all of us, we will be able to do it. And I'm sure that you all will be able to take this nation forward, make the nation really not just self-reliant. The goal is initially set by Honorable Prime Minister as self-reliant, Atmanirbhar and Make in India. You must have seen that. I think Mrs. Ranjani was saying that the next goal is make for India, make for world. It is not for India, make for the world. Our product should be, our technologies should be, our whatever it is, capability should be for the entire world. World should be coming to India for buying everything. And world, India should become the world leader. That's the goal what we have to set in. And I'm sure that the capabilities of you, what you have, the power, mm, बताया था ना हिंदी में वो सॉन्ग रहता है तेरे मुट्ठियों में बंद तूफान है रे. So you have all that capability in your things. Open it up, see it, see your capabilities, and you will be able to do wonders. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Thank you so much. You said you had not prepared for this, but it's a little difficult to believe now. But I'm sure the students, I could see smiles all around. I'm sure they're highly inspired by whatever you've said today. It's indeed very, very interesting that you brought leadership down to something so simple, that a person who can energize and create positivity. So that's I think the hallmark of a good leader. I think you also spoke so well about autonomous project teams, rapid action teams, and the importance of creating a chain of leadership, which in itself creates a problem-solving mindset in the people, and therefore they look for problems and then proactively try and solve them. So I think from a leadership perspective, students could not have asked for more. But sir, we are a bit greedy in the sense that we won't just leave you like that. We will still have questions. In fact, so many of our questions you have already answered, but we have a few more for you. One thing that you also discussed a little bit in detail was about the technologies that were developed for combating the fight against COVID. So, are there one or two examples that you would like to discuss with us? Because you did cover a range of things, starting from simple sanitizers right up to ventilators. But is there any one thing there, as an example that you can?
One thing what I have not mentioned very specifically is actually the for the COVID, whatever the medicine, what our people have come out is 2DG, 2-deoxy D-glucose. This is one thing what our people developed long back for fighting with, some of the specific nuclear related thing. Then when I went to the lab, one of the very young scientists got up, sir, I am very sure that this works for the COVID virus also. It works for any virus. And immediately tried it in the CCMB. It gave excellent results, and then went through all the trials. And that took almost a year. And the type, wherever we have seen, and the medicine was not available in bulk because of various other issues of production and all those things. But then wherever it has been applied at the right time to the patient properly, they all have recovered tremendously. That's one thing, actually commendable job what our scientists have done. Kudos to those scientists, young scientists particularly, who have worked from the two laboratories.
Yeah, thank you for that, sir. So, sir, as far as NITI is concerned, under the dynamic leadership of our director, we also are looking to improve our research output qualitatively. And we have a lot of young research scholars who are always working with us. So, do you have some message for them specifically?
One thing is academic institutes play a major role in any nation building or nation's technologies or science and technology or management building. It is if we don't have very good academic institutes, you expecting something else that country should do much, in all these areas is extremely difficult. So academic institutes play a major role, and they're the fundamental elements. Whenever we talk about in our side also, academia, DRDO, and industry. And academic institutes have to play a major role. And the research outcomes, what they come from academic institutes play a major role. And I exactly do not know the type of research, what happens in the institute here, whether it is on the industry and engineering related things, or there are any specific topics, then we would be able to comment more and more on that. But one thing is there, if even if I assume that it is industry growth and engineering aspects, and then science and engineering, technology and engineering, this is one thing, actually creating very good models in any country is the most important. And the model, actually, we cannot actually take a model from any nation and then apply here. It has to be a homegrown model suitable for the actually for the given conditions and environment. It is always based on the environmental application, the mindset, the psychology, and the environment what is available for that. And I am sure that you should be working in that direction and create good models for this country, how industry can grow, what type of a industry and academia relation should be there, and also organizations like R&D organization, DRDO, ISRO, Atomic Energy should have. This is an important topic, what I feel that you should be concentrating, working on it and come out with the solutions.
Yeah, I think that's a very important piece of advice, sir. Yeah, so Indian models for Indian problems, uh, domestic solutions which can later be generalized, like you say, even for the world. Yeah, I think that's the place where any good institution would like to be in. We have some questions from students. This particularly, it's an interesting question. I just want to know your take on this. You are, of course, a leader with your own style. If I understand from the talk that you gave us, it's a style where you empower people and create a sense of purpose. So where people then drive themselves. In fact, you explicitly mentioned that it's a good idea to allow people to explore themselves. So what advice do you have for students who are highly motivated but do not connect to their sense of purpose? So then, what is your advice for them?
That's what I said in the beginning also, and anywhere, first person should be setting a goal for himself and set that goal as a very high and top level goal. And then your capabilities and everything you should be working towards that. Uh, important, what is important in life is setting the goal. For certain times, what happens is for certain people, they themselves will not be able to set a goal for them. It is their teacher or guru or their parents in the house, whoever it is, they should be setting the goal for them. This is your goal, this is where you have to reach, and you work for it. And people will be able to work for it. But setting the goal at the very high level is very important. And actually, I always say, many times in my talk, I say, when I was in Hyderabad, that particular year I had two important things. There was one DGP who is a friend of mine, and also there was the managing director of Road Transport Corporation of the whole state. The DGP was son of a police constable, and he became the boss of the whole state. And same time, the MD of the Road Transport Corporation, he was son of a conductor, and he became the MD of that, the whole boss of that whole state. And this is what is the type of a goal what we should set in. As I said, some people can set themselves the goal, or somebody else can set the goal and make them inspire, and then they have other energies and keep monitoring and keep here and there when he's going out of track. Somebody should be always. That is why people say always in our life, some guru should be there. That just to see guide you, you are in the right track. And energies have to be yourself. It is not somebody energies which will be, infused into.
Thank you for that. I think you very beautifully highlighted the role of a guru or a mentor. So this mentorship, I think, is something that generally students should look to. Keep having mentors in whom they can confide and, just check whether they are on the right direction. So if you have the time and if you permit us, we have one last question for you. We have many more, but considering time, so would you like to take one last question, sir?
Please go.
Sure, sure. So, like we discussed, we are not moving just towards self-reliance, but we are moving to a place of global leadership. So, if you could just give us a few instances, how India is poised for global leadership.
See, you can see in many of the cases we have already touched that we have become one of the very few nations in the world. Let's say the Department of Space, the way we have developed our own polar satellite launch vehicle and geostationary launch vehicle, and we could have moon mission, Mars mission. How many nations have done in the world? Very few. The anti-satellite test, what I've said, we are the fourth nation in the world after US, Russia, and China. The ballistic missile defense program, we are again for the fourth nation. The ballistic missiles, we are one of the 6 or 7 nations in the world. Today, in very close to you in Pune, a gun is developed, 155 mm artillery gun. That's the world's longest range gun. The BrahMos missile, supersonic cruise missile, when it was developed, that was the only supersonic cruise missile in the entire world. And when you talk about the Tejas aircraft, we are one of the 6 nations who have developed this. So there are instances and examples of what has been done. But it should not be that few cases like this. You should be in many, many, many cases like this, where you stand as one of the world leaders or stand as world leader. See, I always again say one sentence whenever I say, India till recently it has been technology follower, and we should change from that to technology leader. And you have the capabilities. These are the examples, what I've just given some examples. And we should be able to definitely reach that. But how soon, how fast we should be reaching is what is important. We all should work for that.
Thank you for this really insightful session. Thank you for kindly taking all our questions and spending time answering this. I am most certain that this is possibly one of the most inspiring way to spend a Saturday afternoon. I am actually very envious of our students because they get these wonderful sessions from really inspiring people. So I'm sure today they have taken very, very valuable lessons on leadership, inspiration, motivation, and of course the role of dedication and hard work and a sense of purpose. I don't have enough words to thank you for this wonderful session. I now hand over the session back to my student volunteer.
Thank you, Ranjini madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring address and insightful answers to the questions from our students. All of us here undoubtedly resonate with your words that a leader should be there and at the same time not be there. It was a wonderful and enriching experience listening to you, and I'm sure that all the students joining us from all across the nation are very grateful for the same. So we have over 500 listeners in this talk, and you will undoubtedly be a guiding light for the techno managers and leaders of tomorrow. We are privileged to listen to your words of wisdom, and I would also like to extend a special thanks to Professor K.S. Ranjini ma'am for seamlessly moderating the Q&A section. I now request our Dean, Student Affairs and Placements, Dr. Hema Date ma'am, to share her thoughts. Over to you, ma'am.
May I ask your name, please?
Sir, I'm Harshita Thakur.
Harshita Thakur. Very good. And so what is your goal?
Sir, my goal is to be a leader and to bring about the change and contribute to self-reliant India, just the way DRDO is looking forward to.
Very good. All the best. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, quite indeed inspiring session means so much of motivation, and it's really, great. Respected Dr. Satish Reddy sir, respected director sir, all faculty members and my dear students, on behalf of NITI Mumbai as Dean Students Affairs, I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Satish for today's inspiring session organized by NITI Prerna Management Group. It was very enriching to hear from you, sir. especially qualities of successful leadership. And we are fortunate to have similar leadership. And our director, sir, Dr. Manoj Kumar Tiwari, also is we are experiencing all these leadership qualities in NITI also. And we could see the drastic change in last 2 years, even though it was a COVID pandemic and all. A lot of digital transformation and lot of initiatives we have taken. So we also realize that yes, leadership matters a lot to make the institute successful. Thank you for accepting our invitation and sparing your precious time to meet us today and address us with your eminent knowledge. It is great pleasure for all of us to get insights and learnings from the person leading the largest research organization of the country. We all are proud to see you at NITI, and we would be really excited to host you on our campus in a physically whenever it is possible. We are waiting for the opportunity, sir. I'm sure the students were able to learn a lot from the vast experiences as a leader and inventor. And I'm sure they will be following all the footpath you have actually mentioned about it. I would like to mention that NITI has emerged as one of the leading institute for management education with major contributions in advancing transformative education and industry-inspired research in different domains. NITI has been acknowledged as a center of excellence by the Ministry of Education as well as declared as the Institute of National Importance. As a combined initiative by Directorate General Resettlement, Ministry of Defense and NITI, a specially crafted 6 months Defense General Management Program was launched on 18th October 2021. Military officers who have set examples for showing the highest standards of discipline, competence, and services to the country will be trained in technomanagerial skills to deliver visionary corporate leadership. So this is the second inning. They will be actually having the learning experience for 6 months, and they are looking forward for the better opportunities in life. NITI has also launched a Center of Excellence in the domain of logistics and supply chain management. Given the significance of logistics and supply chain management in the growth and development of the nation, this Center of Excellence will help to improve competitiveness, maximize the capabilities through improved logistics infrastructure, and obtain the advantages of globalization. And I'm really thankful to you, sir, for your busy time. And it was such a valuable, insightful session. And our students will have great learning from it. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of entire NITI fraternity, I would like to thank Dr. G. Satish Reddy, sir, once again for sparing his valuable time to address our students and faculty. We hope that you will continue to grace us with your presence at NITI for future events and give us the chance to host you again in person. I would also like to thank our director, Dr. Manoj K. Tiwari, sir, and the Dean of Student Affairs and Placements, Dr. Hema Date, ma'am, for their continuous efforts to facilitate an excellent learning environment for the students at NITI. I thank everyone for attending the leadership talk with so much enthusiasm. This event was coordinated by NITI Prerna Management Group. Sir, I thank you again for having delivered such a motivating session. I now request members of the organizing committee and participating faculty members to kindly switch on their cameras for a virtual photograph with the guests of honor. With your permission, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I thank Professor Manoj Kumar Tiwari and all others for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. Thank you very much. I enjoyed my session and questions with you, and well connected by you and Mrs. Ranjani and Dr. Hema also.
The photograph is taken. We would now stop the live stream on YouTube.